The churn in the Congress party is fully on, even as the party leadership holds on to status quo. I'm Barkha Dutt, and you're with the Mojo story. We'll be talking to Sunil Jakhar, senior leader of the Congress in Punjab, in just a moment from now. And remember, Sonia Gandhi, as of now, is continuing as the chief. She's still an interim chief. This is a party that hasn't had a full-time party president since 2019 when Rahul Gandhi quit. Different leaders are lashing out in different directions. Kapil Sibal has made some very acerbic comments, as has Sunil Jakhar, Punjab Congress leader, who is lashing out at Charanjit Channi, the first Dalit Chief Minister of Punjab, who found himself decimated in these elections. To learn more about what shape and face the Congress might take in Punjab, but also nationally, let's go across to a veteran of politics, Sunil Jakhar himself. Remember, Sunil Jakhar was appointed as the head of the campaign committee in Punjab, but Mr. Jakhar on this platform spoke about how he was shunned by central leaders like Ambika Soni for being Hindu and how he felt terribly hurt at that point. Sunil ji, it's good to see you again. And let me start by asking you, you're obviously very angry, but you have chosen to focus your criticism on one man, Charanjit Channi. Why only on him?
Thank you, Barkha ji, for having me on your show here today. My reason, I'm not angry. I feel the whole Congress party in Punjab has been let down by this one person. Our entire campaign was built around him. This was the change that we projected. Mind you, there was a mood of change in Punjab. The Congress party had gauged the sense of the people properly, like we had diagnosed the disease, but the medicine which was prescribed to handle this disease proved to be worse than the disease itself. The sense of change, people wanted what they called a badlav. Yes, people wanted badlav. This was not just a monopoly of figuring it out of Aam Aadmi Party. This was sensed by our own MLAs who wanted to replace Captain Amrinder Singh or wanted him to change his ways, or there were certain issues which were not addressed during his tenure of 4.5 years. But I think to bring in that change, in an effort that we made, we lost a golden opportunity. All this kind of a tsunami, which is it now described as, this tsunami could have been stopped. We could have provided the change people wanted. And an effort was made, and I think Rahul Gandhi ji was right hit the nail on the head when he projected a man from a humble background in place of a Maharaja, a man whom he believed to be an honest person, and a person on top of that, he also happened to be a Dalit, which was an added advantage. But at the end of the day, not even end of the day, just 10 days or 15 days into his tenure as a chief minister, this person demolished two of these pillars on which this entire narrative of Congress was built. One was he's a poor man coming from a humble background. Other was that he's an honest chap. Both these things were demolished the day Enforcement Directorate raided him. I know the kind of credibility, the kind of Vishwasanita, as we call it, is associated with Enforcement Directorate these days. But, you know, politics, more than facts, is all built around perception. For that very matter, nobody had seen Captain Amrinder Singh hobnobbing with Sukhbir or Akalis. Nobody had seen any Congress.
But are you saying that the perception became that Mr. Channi was not honest, or are you saying that you think he is not honest because your tweet which lashed out at him suggested that he is not honest?
I have known it, like I have known it personally also, and this perception also gained ground because you may explain raid of Enforcement Directorate because this has become a norm these days. Every election we see Enforcement Directorate going after all the people who raise voice against BJP. But how do we explain this 10 crore rupees? How do we explain this 25 crore rupees sitting into the account of his nephew, which is they have still not been able to explain what is the source of income? This demolished entirely all these set of antiques which he indulged in, from milking a buffalo to making a that मैं चार पाई बुन सकता हूँ, I can do this, or I've also been selling a cup of tea, or I've been pulling a rickshaw, or eventually ended up milking a goat. But all these antics kind of made us a butt of ridicule. That here is a guy who's pretending to be poor. And if you look at it from a psychological point of view, I think it was his own sense of guilt or his own conscience which was making him do these things so as because he knew he's not poor.
But Sunil ji, if you knew this then, तो आप कुछ बोले क्यों नहीं उस समय? आपने अपने hurt के बारे में बात की. Why did you not convey this to the party leadership?
Once a decision is taken, Barkha ji, I am part of whatever I am. Even if today when I'm talking to you, it is because I have been reached this level where you people are talking to me because of Congress party. And Congress made me from an MLA to leader of opposition to PCC president to a member of parliament. All these things. But I raised my voice because this was a fait accompli which kind of presented the day all this this happened where the chief minister was announced the chief minister. It was done all of a sudden. 2 days prior to that, all the MLAs had said that we will accept anyone whom the high command appoints as the chief minister. This is one mystery which I have not been able to resolve, is that what happened during that 1.5 hour when after the resolution was passed that anybody is accepted, that they went into deliberation, all these three leaders, Ajay Makanji, Harish Rawat and Harish Chaudhary. But nothing came out, and 1.5 hour later, they gave this kind of thing leaked out that it's going to be Sunil Jakhar. So then they gave an opportunity to people raise this hue and cry about no, it cannot be a Hindu, which was then again amplified by this lady sitting in Delhi. But still they went ahead with this vote, and the vote was overwhelmingly in favor of Sunil. But then they again decided no, because she had categorically said on national TV that only and only a Sikh can be a chief minister of Punjab, and no Hindu can be chief minister of Punjab. So that sealed the fact. Then on top of that, then they announced Sukhjinder Randhawa. Then the name of Sidhu propped up, and eventually it boiled down to Charanjit Channi. So after that, once he was declared, and I think it was pulled out of the hat at the last moment, it was announced, over and done with. But I met Rahulji 5 days later, had happened to travel with him to Delhi. Next day he called me and asked me, like, it was gracious of him. I was not even MLA, still asked me, Sunil, I would like you to join the government and be a deputy chief minister with Channi. I said, sorry, I don't even acknowledge him as my leader. He said, why? I said, because I know him. I cannot work with him. I carry my legacy. I carry the name of my father, and I don't want to be my image to be tarnished working with this sort of fellow. As simple as that.
So what did he say? What did Mr. Gandhi say? Rahul,
he says, no, the party. I said, yes, I accept your decision. I'm not come here to complain. I'm here because you asked me to come. And I have my reservations about him. You might find him a good leader, but I don't find him. He's not even worthy of being my leader. And I'm not saying it here after the fact. If you recall, before I met Rahulji on a national television, he asked me on the national TV, he says, what do you think of Channi? I said, I don't expect much out of him. And I hope that eventually it will be the chair which will make the man. And which has proven true now. Look what he has done to the institution of chief ministership. If this is the kind of chief minister you expect, maybe people of Bihar may have accepted Laluji milking buffaloes and doing what, but a Punjab youth, which is so aspirational, who's all lining up to go to Canada, you think they will settle for somebody who's trying to milk goats here? No. Sorry, I made myself clear, but a decision had been taken. And as they say, ours is not to reason why, but to do and die. I'm a part and parcel of Congress, and we went ahead with it. In principle, there was nothing wrong.
No, but tell me, you're basically saying, you're basically saying that what Mr. Channi was supposed to be, he did not turn out to be. मतलब आप ये कह रहे हैं कि
exactly.
But do you not think? But do you not think that he was also undermined by Sidhu who would hold press conferences and not put Channi's face there, though Channi was the chief minister by then, by Sidhu constantly lashing out at him, by your anger? The party appeared to be completely factionally divided. You told me on this platform, on our platform, that you felt Ambika Soni was guilty of political apartheid for shunning you because you were Hindu. For the voter, they saw a house divided. So do you not think Mr. Channi was let down by Navjot Sidhu?
All these things may have added, but the principal thing, there have always been detractors. They were detractors of Captain Amarinder Singh also, but do you think that made any difference? When we went into election in 2017, like, he had his own set of detractors who were speaking all kind of things about him. These things are on the periphery. These all things add up to things. But the major issue was the people wanted to change not the face of it. They wanted to change the system itself. Like we said, people wanted badlav, and Congress offered a badli. You don't change the thanedar badal do, thane mein bhrashtachar khatam nahi ho jata. So we offered a transfer of an officer. When the officer turned out to be worse than the replacement was worse than what we replaced.
What do you see happening now? And what I want to ask you is, आपने Ambika Soni के बारे में, whom you call a PIB lady in your tweet. Why do you call
Punjabi,
it a PIB
I said
lady?
no, PBIR, because there's this restriction of letters.
Okay. I was wondering why is she a PIB lady? Okay, Ambika Soni के साथ आपकी नाराजगी clear है, Channi जी के साथ आपकी नाराजगी clear है. आप इसमें गांधीज को कैसे माफ करते हैं? How do you forgive the Gandhis for everything? It was their decision in the end.
There is nothing wrong in choosing Channi. Please, if you look into the whole thing, look at my tweet that day. I was the first one who approved of this selection. I said he has broken a glass ceiling. People are criticizing Rahul Gandhi, but I say that what he has done, he has broken the glass ceiling. And that's what is expected of a leader. Only his choice of person is wrong. I think they are the poor judge of people. That's all. That's the only thing you can hold them. They trusted Mr. Rawat to give them a proper feedback. But he just simply, I think either he was focused too much on bringing in Rawat. When he came here in September, end of September 2019, there was still plenty of time. And this thing was brewing up. This resentment, this anger, kind of anxiety amongst the MLA. He just ignored it all. He was just focused like, I have to bring this fellow whom he called a Rafale. He says this Sidhu is a Rafale for Congress. And this Rafale, to bringing in that Rafale, he undid this entire Congress here.
What do you think of Sidhu's role? What do you think of Sidhu's role?
What do I think of him is that he has, like, I would say the primary quality of a leader is the ability to carry everybody along, to carry the differences along, and to give respect to people who are maybe better off than him, or at least are his colleagues and as good or bad as he is. But there's too much of I in everything, that it is me, and this narcissism, this kind of a thing does not really work. You have to carry. He may be very popular when he was brought in. There's no denying the fact that he was very popular. But I think his popularity took a dip the day he was sworn in.
You're saying that Charanjit Channi, in your opinion, was a fraud because you're saying he wasn't who he was supposed to be.
I've only called him his greed, and they're all gunning for me that how dare you call. I said, I for want of a word, but this is if you are collecting 10 crores in 10 days, how do you describe it? But I haven't called a fraud, but he was a fake. I would say
fake.
Total fake, a total drama, a total, like, it was obnoxious to watch all these antics, and I think he made Congress a butt of ridicule.
So Charanjit Channi was a fake and Navjot Singh Sidhu was a narcissist. And these were the two men leading the campaign.
He is so full of himself. So full of himself. There is no space for anybody else. He is a good person, maybe. I used to get along with him very well, but he is also his own, everybody has his own style of functioning. Everybody has the plus, minuses, weaknesses, and strengths. But once you are in that position, whether you like, it is not your personal choices, your biases or prejudices. You have to get above that. I think he never could get above that. He still hung on to his own Punjab model. Well, now he can make his own models.
But who should lead the party now, Mr. Jakhar? When we last spoke, you said, "मैं तो इन लोगों के साथ काम ही नहीं करूँगा. For me, my active politics is over."
I'm over.
You still think
I'm
that? You
history.
still say that?
As far as politics is concerned, I'm history. I'm still glad. Maybe I'm enjoying these last few moments of screen time with you. After that, there will be no Sunil Jakhar.
No, no, we'll always call
At least
you.
as far
पर
as
आप ये
history is
बताइए,
concerned.
नहीं आप ये बताइए, who should lead in your opinion? One is full of himself, the other is a fake. Who should now lead
There
the
are
Congress
far
party
better.
in
There
Punjab?
are people.
जैसे कौन? Like yourself, you've exempted from the choice set of choices. So what should happen to the Congress party in Punjab right now?
They should seriously look for a credible face. Credibility. Credibility is the cornerstone of any revival scheme. Credibility. Look, this fellow, maybe I was outspoken, maybe I was brash enough to tell Rahulji that I don't accept him as my leader. But the fact of the matter is, nobody in Congress or even in Punjab accepted him as a leader. And this is why all this indiscipline and all these problems which propped up, and you call like they are fighting amongst themselves and all, because he was too much to swallow, like you just could not stand him. His antics were becoming like kind of repulsive. But still, since he was decided, he was there and it was going on, but nobody did it. And in
But
case
this,
of
if,
Captain
but this, but
Amrinder
this,
Singh,
if, yes, yes.
sorry,
Go
in
ahead.
case of Captain Amrinder Singh, people may have difference of opinion with him, but nobody questioned his leadership ability. Even the people.
No, but look at the three men. Look at the three men in charge of Punjab in the last few months. Captain Amrinder Singh, no one questioned his leadership, but he was widely reported to be inaccessible to ordinary people, including his party mates. Right, so he was removed, which you agree with. Then Charanjit Channi, you say, is a fake. Sidhu, you say, is full of himself. Now, this means that all the decisions taken by the Congress leadership were wrong. Maybe they removed Amrinder too late. Maybe they, both the replacements turned out to be a mistake. So why are you so forgiving about the Gandhis and their political judgment here?
Because I have seen Rahul, worked with him for now almost since 2012. Now it is 22 full 10 years. I respect him. The other people may, whatever you may think, you may have your own opinion. But the fellow he is all the right stuff. Maybe he is a bad judge of character. But I personally think that who would put up with a guy like me? I think I had, like in his place, I even once said that had I been in your place, I would have thrown Sunil out of my office. And so why do you say that? I said, because who would listen to this kind of a... He says, no, you have right to say whatever you have to say to me, because I see logic in what you are saying. So which leader today could have... Otherwise, I would have been out of Congress, thrown out of the Congress in my year and long ago. Everybody has their weaknesses. I think he believes in these people who are not worthy of his trust. He has been betrayed. Like this was the job of Harish Rawat. There was Corona. Captain Swasa was incommunicado. Mrs. Gandhi was not well because of her treatment which was going on. Immunity anyway, I think must have been suppressed during Corona time. So this breakup of communication, this wrong feeding of information. So this communication should be a proper kind of two-way communication. For almost a year and like another 2-3 months, we just could not communicate. And I think which led to this. I'll just give you, I don't know how much time you have.
No, please give. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I did my MBA and we had a viva finally on the final year from this the invigilator had come from Delhi, and he wanted to ask me, because in those days, it was 1977, after 77, emergency period, and he somehow could connect. My father then was the leader of opposition, and he asked me, Mr. Jakhar, are you associated with politics in any way? I said, yes, I'm from a family which is in politics. He said, tell me, can you apply the principles of management to politics? And I said, yes. He said, explain to me why, how. I said, look, emergency itself was not bad. It was a product, but it was packaged wrong. It was marketed wrong. And the problem was that it was being marketed too forcefully. And if there was a feedback, if the management could get a proper feedback from the marketplace that people are not liking the way it is being pushed upon them, maybe the packaging could have been changed. The product itself was not bad. And that
I mean,
was
I have to disagree with you on that. I do not accept it for a moment that there was any merit to the emergency, however it was marketed. But and so let's put that on record and have another
that is an okay,
conversation,
but
another
I'm saying
debate,
is that
another day
had
about
there
the
been
emergency. Yeah.
information, maybe people like you didn't, then they should have checked this also. Maybe I was one of the customers who was not at the receiving end, others were. If the feedback had gone, maybe they could have.
But basically, you're saying whoever advised Rahul Gandhi did not understand Punjab.
They did not understand the situation, or maybe they had their own axe to grind. So he got the wrong. That's why I'm saying maybe he trusts people too much. He just let them have. They should be in a multiple means of kind of a communication, and he should have been better informed.
Well, in the end, the buck stops. The buck stops with the leader, so he'll have to take his share of responsibility, as will Priyanka Gandhi, who was very keen on Navjot Singh Sidhu's role. But let me ask you, in the end, you've seen today Kapil Sibal, a part of the group of 23 rebels in the Congress, lashing out, saying it's time for a non-Gandhi to lead the party. Obviously, people in the party are worried. What do you think of this debate and Mr. Sibal's statement?
What I can say about what Mr. Sibal has to say or others have to say is, but let them first come up with an alternative. Like we had an alternative, we did deliberate and brought in a Channi. You think people are happy with that? So do we want to do another blunder? You think people would accept? Let Mr. Sibal put himself as a candidate. Let's see how many people would come with him. Let's see how many people, let's look at their contribution. So we are all talking about that every G23 is saying that our traditional leaders should be brought in. You want the traditional leaders, this lady I'm talking about, she is sitting in the Rajya Sabha for 30 years. You think I would vote for her? Could there be a more traditional congressman than this one, the one we are showing on the TV?
Yeah. So what should happen, Sunil ji? You're a veteran of the Congress. You're not just a...
This one.
Yeah.
Then obviously, then it's bye-bye Congress. How can they even, what is their contribution? Tell me, Barkha ji, be honest, be without any bias against it.
No. I am simply asking you what should happen. What should happen?
Credibility. Anybody credible face, yes, people will accept him. But whatever decision is taken, you cannot just leave it to him. You need Gandhis. They are willing to step aside, but let there be a person who is acceptable. I look at them, I see very few people whom I would accept as my leader. Maybe I'm nobody. There are millions and millions of congressmen. Congressman still has a worker in every nook and corner of the country. Our condition is like BSNL. We have the largest number of, we have such a brand which is there available in every nook and corner, but we don't have any revenue. So this is the condition we have to improve. There's no doubt about this demand that the whole thing needs improvement. But just going after Gandhis, this I don't believe. Without Gandhis, this Congress will collapse tomorrow itself. It will not last 24 hours. So in consultation with them and with consultation with people, genuine people, not psycho fans sitting there or who have an agenda, who just want another go at Rajya Sabha, they do not want to vacate the houses they have been sitting in. Not those people. People who are congressmen who have contributed, yes, I will accept them. Definitely people will accept them. But why do you want to, if it has not been, people have rejected Congress at the hustings, that's one part of the story. But the Congress is still there and we can give a good fight, provided we recognize. If we ignore and we still call Channi a hero, the guy is an outright villain of this whole drama which has unfolded here in Punjab. And I think he should be held accountable. He should be, whatever should be taken. And this lady, till such time she is reprimanded, I will not let it go. I would have said goodbye the day the polling had done, but I will ensure that Congress is rid of her.
So you will keep speaking up till the Congress.
I will.
Till the Congress takes action against Ambika Soni.
Not action against her. What action can you take about? We are not They are not.
So what would you like to see?
But she should be exposed for what she is and what she should be held accountable for what she is, and she should not just go have this success. Why she's even sitting in the CWC? I still fail to even understand. But I will try my best to make people aware, the Congress at least aware of her doings, what the harm she has done. Today, if you have a moment, last thing I would say, today one of the guy, they are having a feedback meeting today of all from one region of Punjab, the MLAs, 69 MLAs are here, who are giving a feedback. And I was just watching on the TV, one of them was saying it was Sunil Jakhar who did us in because of his comment that Hindu ko nahi banaya, and that's why
you said that to us.
No urban voter has voted for us. I said, I take this criticism. Yes, he is welcome to criticize me. At least this should awaken Congress, what they have done to the urban voter. The reasons, maybe was it because of me? Am I being shot because I happen to be the messenger? Or it lies somewhere else? If they keep blaming me without figuring out the culprit sits somewhere else, the villain, I don't know what is the female word for villain, but Lalita, what was used to be Lalita and Shashikala, that sits somewhere else. So I think that will not help Congress. You have to acknowledge, first of all, you have to acknowledge the mistake. You have to see what is the problem. आंखें बंद करने से बिल्ली तो नहीं भागेगी, कबूतर को खाएगी. So we can keep doing it, live in a, what Sibyl Saab has written, we are living in a lala world. But I think there are very intelligent, very capable people of integrity in Congress, but not these people who are just making a lot of hue and cry. They write well, they speak well. But no, this is not required. First of all, integrity and credibility. These are two factors I would accept. But beyond that, no, it does not impress me much. No.
Okay, we'll keep in touch with you, Sunil Jakhar. A lot is going to happen in your party, both at the state level and nationally.
Maybe till the time I see the back of her, yes, till then maybe you may hear from me again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jakhar. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Bye-bye. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalists.